Hey there, everyone. Happy Friday. Here's some of what's heading your way tonight. Your news at 9.
After searching for nearly 3 decades, a Topeka, Kansas woman learns her sister was the victim in a 30-year-old cold case in McDonald County. I'm Zach Dodge with her story.
We're learning more about the suspect involved in Friday's deadly attack outside the Capitol. I'm Lucas Tomlinson in Washington. I'll have the details coming up.
President Biden weighs in on the latest jobs report. I'm Ray Bogan in Washington with more on what it means for the country's economic recovery coming up.
Doug Hetty weather, Jacob Leonard, actually Danny Terzer. She has sports tonight. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight on Jordan Obby. Investigators used the DNA of a half-sister to identify a woman killed 30 years ago. And tonight, we hear from that sister. Earlier this week, authorities announced that they had finally identified a woman found dead back in December of 1990 in McDonald County. The woman they had been calling Gray Stowe was actually Shauna Beth Garber. Authorities believe Garber was raped, killed, her body abandoned on Oscar Talley Road in McDonald County. The case had gone cold for 30 years until advanced DNA technology led investigators to Garber's half-sister. That half-sister had been searching for Garber for nearly as long as the case had been active. KOAM's Zach Dodge now with the story.
Danielle Pixler has been trying to answer a question for almost 3 decades.
I was told so many different stories that you did have a brother and a sister and you don't. And I was like, I want to know.
Pixler says she, her brother Rob, and sister Shauna went through the foster care system and were separated when they were young.
I remember a couch, what was on the back of the couch. And I know, there was 2 people, siblings.
Knowing that she had family out there, when she was 18, she started looking for those siblings. She found her brother Rob, but Shauna was still out there.
I printed her pictures off. I randomly would get into phone books all over, like California. You name it, I did it. I was bound determined to find her.
She later learned that Shauna had been in foster care in Garnett, Kansas, but didn't know beyond that what happened to her. So the search continued for 28 years until in January 2021, she heard from Michael Hall at the McDonald County Sheriff's Office. He called to tell her that she might be related to the victim of a 30-year-old cold case.
I was like, what? I thought somebody was scamming me or something.
She then went to the Topeka Police Department to give a DNA sample, and in late March, the results were in. The cold case victim, who had been referred to as Gray Stowe, was her sister, Shauna.
I was freaking out. I was like I said, I was overwhelmed. Of course, I was crying, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this.
So Pixler had found her long-lost sister. And while it wasn't the outcome she was hoping for, it was still relieving in a way to have some closure.
I just needed that. We all needed that. And it was rough because, I was having dreams and nightmares, and I just didn't know what to think.
There are still a lot of questions, the main one being who killed her. But she wanted to share her story so that others in her shoes don't give up hope on finding answers.
Anything can happen. 50-some years later, you can find out. Don't stop looking. Don't stop. Don't.
Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
The investigators ask anyone with information that could help the case to call the McDonald County Sheriff's Office. Now, the break in the case, with thanks to new advanced DNA technology at Texas-based company Othram. The company used advanced DNA testing and forensic genealogy to put together a genetic family tree for Garber. That helped them find several possible matches, which led them to Pixler. We're going to have that sound on tape a little bit later. Meanwhile, a 12-year-old boy is dead after an ATV crash in southwest Missouri. The Highway Patrol says the boy was driving the ATV on a rural road a couple miles south of Aurora when it overturned and the boy was thrown off. Authorities have not yet released the boy's name. Shawnee County, Kansas District Attorney files charges against 2 people accused of killing a Chanute woman. Topeka police in Topeka say that woman, 39-year-old Chrissy Rodriguez, died after she and 2 others were shot in Topeka last week. The 2 others victims are expected to be okay. Authorities announced they have charged Devonta Bernard Miller and Harley Elizabeth Borders. Miller and Borders face numerous charges, including premeditated murder in the first degree, murder in the first degree committed during an inherently dangerous felony. Doug Heddy joining us now with the first look at the forecast. Bit of a chilly start, then it got absolutely gorgeous today.
Yeah, it turned out to be a fantastic afternoon for us. Temperatures great. 37 to start, but 68 for a high, a couple of notches above where we should be for this time of the year. And we have plenty of sunshine as well. We do have some clouds which have been rotating in, so we're going to call it partly cloudy skies for us tonight, but really nothing underneath the clouds, as we just have a weak little wave that's going to rotate through, give us some clouds kind of here and there over the next couple days. Temperature is still pretty good. Most of us are sitting into the mid 50s. Our southerly winds kind of keeping those temperatures up. They're going to stay at least breezy for us tonight. We're going to drop back to about 43 tonight, but even warmer by tomorrow afternoon. High temp 71. Of course, we're going to look at Easter here in just a bit.
All right, Doug. Thanks as always. Federal authorities trying to get to the bottom of what led to a deadly attack, another one, outside the Capitol on Good Friday. This one deadly, though. An armed suspect drove his car into two officers before crashing into a barrier. Officers shot and killed the suspect. Sadly, one of the officers did not survive. The other officer is in stable condition. Fox News correspondent Lucas Tomlinson has the latest details from D.C.
The accused suspect of the attack is being identified as Noah Green. Law enforcement sources tell Fox News Green's background is being closely examined, and his since-deleted Facebook page indicated he was a follower of the Nation of Islam and recently lost his job. Investigators outside the U.S. Capitol are trying to piece together clues into a deadly shooting involving a suspect armed with a knife. Police say the suspect, identified as Noah Green, drove a car into two officers Friday afternoon and crashed into a barrier. We're told Green got out with a knife and stabbed an officer, prompting them to shoot him.
From what we can see from video at this time, I do not see the suspect wrestling with a U.S. Capitol Police officer.
Law enforcement held a procession for the fallen officer, being identified as William Evans, an 18-year veteran of the force and a member of the Capitol Division's First Responders Unit. Friday's attack is reigniting the debate about Capitol security. Lawmakers still want to know more about what took place, but before the attack, some had called for the National Guard to be scaled back and barriers to be removed.
We'll be reviewing everything at this point, including the fencing. We can't get too far ahead of ourselves without knowing that we have the ability to protect the Capitol, to harden the Capitol, to do all the things that are in General Honore's report.
President Biden is staying at Camp David for Easter weekend. He released the following statement, quote, "I want to express the nation's gratitude to the Capitol Police, the National Guard Immediate Response Force, and others who quickly responded to this attack." President Biden ordered flags at the White House to be flown at half-staff. In Washington, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
More than a year into the coronavirus pandemic in the U.S., economy is finally showing signs of picking up pace. Fox News correspondent Ray Bogan has more on today's jobs report, as well as what President Biden had to say about the latest numbers.
Help is here. Opportunity is coming. And at long last, there's hope.
President Biden cheered the March jobs report, showing the economy added 916,000 jobs and the unemployment rate dropped to 6%. That's a long way from the 14.7% last April, but the administration is stopping short of a full celebration.
Over 8 million jobs that existed a year ago today are yet to return.
President Biden is trying to carry his momentum from the American Rescue Plan and vaccine success into a new multi-trillion-dollar infrastructure package. The president says he'll meet with Republicans and Democrats after Easter break to negotiate a path forward and a way to pay for the package, which may include a tax increase.
Debate is welcome, but inaction is not an option.
Republicans have not offered their support, and like the last COVID relief package, say it's incredibly expensive and contains unrelated items.
It really is breathtaking.
The White House wants to get the infrastructure package signed into law this summer, giving them some time to negotiate. In Washington, Ray Bogan, Fox News.
A new poll from the Associated Press shows that about half of the American public back expanding access to early and mail voting. The poll finds that many Americans, although not overwhelming, are showing support for the sweeping legislation in Congress on voting reforms. According to the poll from the AP National Opinion Research Center for Public Affairs Research, about 50% of Americans are in favor of no excuse absentee voting, both early, in person, or by mail, while about 3 in 10 opposed the ideas. The remaining held neither opinion. The partisan divide was stark, as many Democrats embraced expanding access to voter registration and voting, while Republicans, for the most part, opposed the measures. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time now to honor one of our 4 state heroes. Bobby Sanders has served in the U.S. Army, spending time in Iraq. We are proud to thank Specialist Bobby Sanders, a native of Galena, Kansas, tonight's 4 state hero. Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast a bit later. 2 of the best teams in the nation square off in Joplin. Going to have highlights and post-game reaction in sports.
Well, it turned out to be a great Friday for us today. Temperatures fantastic as we did go into the upper 60s for highs. In fact, pressing 70 in our western counties, which, hey, we'll definitely take. In fact, it's going to warm up even a little bit more as we go through the next couple days. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, Terracam just outside of Seneca, Missouri, looking pretty good right now. Allergies not looking so good. They're definitely on the high side. On the scale of 1 to 10 today is a 10. Tomorrow's going to be a 10 as well. This is mainly the tree allergies, elm, juniper, maple trees, which are causing some issues across the region. All right, temperatures quite a bit warmer for us today, only mid-50s yesterday, and then about 13 to 15 degrees warmer during the afternoon hours for us today. And still, it's not bad. 55 in Iola, 58 Independence, 56 in Pittsburgh, Grove at 56, Carthage checking in at about 55 degrees, and we have these southerly winds. This is going to help our temperatures not bottom out as far during the overnight hours. South winds at about 10 to 20. It's not really breezy at all, but this will keep our temperatures up just a bit. A few clouds also have kind of skirted in over the past couple hours. There's a weak little wave just to our south, and all it's really going to do for us, you can see the clouds across Oklahoma and then also some showers in New Mexico. All it's really going to do is just give us some clouds as we head into the weekend, but of course, no big storm systems moving in, so we have a pretty good stretch over the next several days that we're going to see pretty good weather. So a few clouds for us tonight, then we'll see southerly winds and warm up very nicely by Saturday afternoon. Pretty good day, a little breezy, 43 to start, 65 by noon, high temp is 71. We're going to have those south winds at 15 to 25. So I guess that would be the only downfall, but still pretty good day. All right, tomorrow night, clear skies. We'll drop back into the mid-40s once again, and then Easter Sunday looks fantastic. Sunny skies, a little breezy again, but even warmer as we go into lower 70s during the afternoon. So the entire weekend looks great. Let's break down Easter for you. We will start the day kind of cool, mainly into the mid-40s, 67 by noon, then a high temp of 73. So Easter Sunday, really fantastic. You just can't beat it. Then we're going to continue to warm up early next week, but we are going to introduce chances for showers and thunderstorms. Moving in by late Tuesday, chances increasing, and then a little better shot on Wednesday. And some of these may be on the stronger side, so that's something we want to keep our eyes on as we go through the next few days. And then we get on the back side of the system, the cooler side of the system, with just some light showers sticking around for Thursday. Let's go 43 tonight, 71 tomorrow, 73 on Easter Sunday, 74 Monday, 76 Tuesday. Cooling down a little bit more late next week, but we have a pretty good stretch of nice weather over the next few days.
Yeah, again, it was so chilly this morning, and then you walked out later in the day, and it was
yeah,
warm.
Great.
We'll see you in a little bit. Thanks so much, Doug. Coming up, Easter get-togethers.
Just ahead of the holiday weekend, new travel guidance from the CDC. I'm Steve Harrigan in Atlanta. That story ahead.
Providing new guidance for vaccinated travelers ahead of the Easter holiday weekend, while another drug maker starts vaccine testing for adolescents. Fox News correspondent Steve Harrigan has more now from Atlanta.
The CDC announcing fully vaccinated individuals can now travel safely domestically without a COVID test or quarantining after their trip. International travelers should still receive a negative test before returning to the U.S. The CDC says everyone should still continue to follow COVID-19 safety protocols, with travel expected to tick up ahead of the Easter holiday weekend.
Wear a mask, physically distant, avoid crowds and poorly ventilated areas.
In the meantime, following Moderna and Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson has now become the third pharmaceutical company to announce that it has expanded vaccine clinical trials to adolescents ages 16 and 17, and they will soon include children as young as 12. Pfizer announced earlier in the week that its vaccine is 100% effective for 12 to 15-year-olds.
And by the end of this year, we should have enough information to be able to safely vaccinate children of virtually any age.
Johnson & Johnson's announcement comes after the company announced they were forced to dispose of around 15 million doses due to a manufacturing error at a Baltimore plant. The company says it is still on target to produce 100 million doses by the end of May.
I want to emphasize the issue at the Baltimore plant did not impact any J&J doses that have been distributed, as all J&J finished doses to date were produced in a different FDA-approved facility.
33 million doses of vaccine were administered this week, a U.S. record. In Atlanta, Steve Harrigan, Fox News.
Just ahead, another day of the George Floyd murder trial, and keep in mind the case involves a former law enforcement officer. Today involved something not happening very often.
Minneapolis law enforcement officials take the stand as the Derek Chauvin trial wraps up its first week. I'm Jeff Paul in Minneapolis. I've got the details coming up.
Today was the fifth day of testimony in the trial of Derek Chauvin. Two Minneapolis law enforcement officials took the stand. Fox News correspondent Jeff Paul has more.
The first week of testimony in the trial of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin wrapped up today. Prosecutors pushing their case that Chauvin used excessive and unnecessary force, which led to George Floyd's death. On Friday, jurors heard from Lieutenant Richard Zimmerman, the head of Minneapolis Police Department's Homicide Division. He testified that he's never been trained to kneel on a suspect's neck.
What level of force might that be?
That would be the top tier, the deadly force.
Why?
Because of the fact that if your knee is on a person's neck, that can kill him.
Zimmerman testified that after handcuffing a person, the threat level goes down. He testified after viewing body camera video from Floyd's arrest, there was no reason for officers to believe they were in danger.
Putting your knee on a neck for that amount of time is just uncalled for.
Jurors also heard from Sergeant John Edwards, who was the overnight supervisor the night Floyd died. He secured the scene and arrived to find two of the officers involved in Floyd's arrest. He asked them to turn on their body cameras and put up crime scene tape.
I asked them to chill out because later on I knew from Sergeant Kluger that he had a couple of escort sergeants coming down to transport them to interview room 100.
Jurors will return to court Monday morning. In Minneapolis, Jeff Paul, Fox News.
An unbelievable surprise for one man walking out of a grocery store. Thousands of bees inside his vehicle. More on this when we come back. This happened. A man in New Mexico found thousands of bees swarming inside his parked car. The driver said he was inside a supermarket for about 10 minutes. 10 minutes! When he came out, he found a swarm of bees in his back seat, as we're seeing. A member of the fire department who, listen to this, also makes a hobby out of beekeeping was called in to help. The firefighter used a bee trap laced with lemongrass oil to lure the bees out of the car and take them to a safe location. An estimated 15,000 honeybees were rescued from the vehicle. Rescued is the key word, and that's awesome news because honeybees are awesome. They make honey, but I think that's still safe to say that looks freaky, you know? The least the supermarket could have done was buzzed the guy over the intercom and said, hey, look outside. Something's not right happening. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming your way.
A Pineville resident and the Better Business Bureau have a warning about a Missouri medical marijuana card company. Details are coming up.
Plus, going to see the unique plans at many churches in the area for this year's Easter Sunday services. Customers are complaining about a Missouri company that claimed they could help people get their medical marijuana cards. Well, now the Better Business Bureau is putting out a warning. KOAM's Mike Mahoney spoke with an agency representative and a forestater who said her experience with MoGreenCard.com was an absolute nightmare.
A Pineville, Missouri woman is one of many people who reported the Missouri-based MoGreenCard.com to the Better Business Bureau.
Each consumer who filed a complaint with Better Business Bureau told us they paid the company anywhere from $200 to $300 for services, and then consumers said that the services were not rendered. MoGreenCard.com has an F rating, which is the lowest on Better Business Bureau scale.
Julie didn't want to give her last name or appear on camera, but says she used MoGreenCard.com to help her friend with medical issues get a medical marijuana card. She says following a meeting with the doctor where her friend got certified, MoGreenCard.com was then supposed to complete the card application and file it with the state.
We tried many times to follow up with the state to see if the application had been filed, and we just hadn't been notified. Also, we reached out by phone, by email, and then, we gave it a few days to allow them to respond, but after that, we still weren't getting anything. At this point, the certification had expired.
Julie says with the company ignoring her, her options were limited to filing a complaint with the Better Business Bureau and leaving a negative review online, all while her friend suffered without his medicine.
He felt very hopeless. He was trying to do things, correctly, the way the state wants you to do it. And then whenever, money's already tight, you've already paid these people, now they are not responding. It's a very depressing feeling.
Julie says the company eventually made things right, but she won't be doing business again with them in the future. And on their website, MoGreenCard.com simply has a press release stating that they couldn't handle the patient demand and didn't have the technology to support it, which is why they've reached out to another company for assistance. In Pineville, Missouri, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
If you'd like to read MoGreenCard.com's full media release concerning how they're trying to make things right for their customers, we've put a link to it in this story on our website, KOAMNewsNow.com. Missouri Southern is partnering with the Joplin Fire Department and the City of Joplin to create a new training program for future firefighters. The program will kick off this summer. The university will offer fire courses training future firefighters in skills like exiting a burning building and basic fire characteristics.
We think that we can service the region as well. I mean, those students that will come from Oklahoma or Kansas or parts of central Missouri or even Arkansas that might come in, enjoy the opportunity here, and then maybe go back home to their community and serve their community as well.
Class sizes will be kept small for safety's sake, around 15 to 18 students per class. Well, today is the 14th annual Autism Awareness Day. Joplin's Leffen Center is encouraging people to light it up blue in recognition of people with autism. Special benefit for the Leffen Center included some food.
We provide a multitude of services, evidence-based services here to help individuals with those core deficits of autism, with communication and socialization.
Proceeds from today's benefit will be donated to the upcoming Walk for Autism Awareness and Freeman 5K on April 24th. Well, Easter Sunday, ask any pastor, any priest, right? Easter Sunday is one of those Sundays churches expect a larger than usual crowd, larger than usual congregation. Well, this year includes COVID-19 precautions as well. Jeff Kingery from Calvary Chapel in Joplin says the church is going to be holding a drive-in style service early in the morning that will allow for some social distancing. It's going to be a more traditional service setting too for those who want it, but social distancing and masks will still be required.
Set apart specifically for those who, again, would have those concerns with regard to social distancing, where we're keeping the separation, and then the areas where people really it's not a concern for them, and so that we can all come together and worship as one.
James River Joplin campus will hold 2 services, both with limited capacity, and masks will be handed out at the door. Well, food banks across the country are working in overdrive as they fulfill billions more requests from the overwhelming number of Americans facing food insecurity. Fox News correspondent Jackie Ibanez has more on how the pandemic is intensifying the crisis. Good news here, how some communities are lending a helping hand.
The pandemic is taking the hunger crisis and making it worse. According to new data from Feeding America, during the last few months of 2020, food banks gave out roughly 42% more food than they did during the same time in 2019.
That extra meal, it goes a long way. It really does.
Early numbers for 2021 still being calculated. Based on data collected so far, officials predict food banks will give out at least 6 billion meals this year alone, roughly 2 billion more than before the pandemic. Hunger is a particular concern for children. The problem is evident in places like Jefferson County, Mississippi, where every student qualifies for a free breakfast and lunch while in school. But with most still learning remotely, district officials fear many are not getting fed.
To not have a meal from the school means the student may not eat at all that particular day.
So they're bringing the food directly to their homes.
A lot of kids didn't have the opportunity nor the transportation to pick up the meals. We know if we don't meet their basic needs, then we definitely can't prepare them academically.
The elderly are also facing higher levels of food insecurity. Meals on Wheels reporting a 60% increase in the number of seniors requiring food assistance since the start of the pandemic. Jackie Ibanez, Fox News.
A bit later, air travel changes.
As the vaccine rollout intensifies, more people are starting to get back to everyday activities, including traveling. I'm Kevin Cork in Washington with more on how airports are making a comeback. That's coming up.
Well, we made it through the work week, and it turned out to be a great Friday for us today. Warmer than what we have seen, at least over the past couple days. Plenty of sunshine, upper 60s to near 70 for us today. So really, no complaints there. Great time lapse or shot of Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo, just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Downfall to today, probably 2, a little bit on the breezy side, and then the allergies are high. On a scale of 1 to 10, today is a 10, tomorrow's a 10 again. So if you are an allergy sufferer, you're going to be suffering at least over the next several days till we get a nice widespread rain to kind of wash out the atmosphere just a little bit. But look at the temps. So we were mid-50s on Wednesday, mid-50s again yesterday. We had some patchy frost during the morning hours, and then we went all the way up into the upper 60s to near 70 for us this afternoon. Not bad right now. Most of us are sitting mid to upper 50s. We're at 55 in Nevada, 54 in Anderson, also Miami, Pittsburgh at 55, 57 in Chanute. I think most of us will drop back to about 43 for us later on tonight. The southerly winds are going to keep our temperatures up just a little bit more than what we have had over the past couple nights. South winds right now at about 10 to 20. At least we're not getting very high gusts, but the winds are going to kind of pick up a little bit as we head into the daytime hours for us tomorrow. Besides that, we look pretty good. We've got a few clouds which are sneaking through, so partly cloudy skies tonight. And then again tomorrow and also on Easter. This is a weak, fairly weak wave. I mean, it doesn't really have any moisture to work with, but it does have some clouds, so we are going to get a few clouds from it tonight, and then also a few showers out through parts of New Mexico. That's it. Besides that, there's no big storm systems out there. In fact, we're not even going to get good chances for rain until about next Wednesday or Thursday. So let's go ahead and break it down. Just a few clouds tonight. Low to mid 40s. Great day tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine. A little windy, but fantastic. Temperatures probably 2 to 3 degrees warmer than what we saw today. So a great day to get outside, do some yard work or planting or whatever you want to do. 43 to start, 65 by noon. High temp is 71. South winds, kind of breezy, 15 to 25. Tomorrow night, back into the upper 40s for lows, and then Easter Sunday. Looks great. We shoot up into lower 70s during the afternoon, so Easter is going to be fantastic across the entire viewing area. Here's your day planner for you on Easter. Starting at 46, 67 by noon, high temp is 73. South winds at about 10 to 20 once again, so it will be a little bit on the breezy side. Then we'll start to see action picking up a bit next week. Very slight chances for rain on Monday. Better chances, scattered showers, a few thunderstorms Tuesday into Wednesday, and then on the back side of the system, cooler showers by Thursday, and we'll cool down a little bit late next week. But it looks good. 71 tomorrow, 73 on Sunday, 74 Monday, 76 on Tuesday, and then those rain chances, at least the best chances, on Wednesday and Thursday.
I bet you in particular like those complaint-free forecasts.
Yeah, that's always nice.
It is. Makes your job a little less stressful, right? Hopefully.
Exactly.
Doug Heddy, thank you so much. Coming up in sports, Missouri Southern aiming to knock off the first-place Central Missouri Mules. Plus, Pittsburgh Purple Dragons trying to pick up their first win against Baxter Springs. Danny Terzer is up next with highlights.
The Missouri Southern Lions are 18-3 overall this season. Their 12-3 conference record has them sitting behind only Central Missouri in the MIAA standings. Southern has a chance to take over the top spot this weekend with a 3-game series against the Mules beginning today. Both of these teams are ranked in the top 10 in the nation. Central is number 5, Southern is number 10. Things get going quickly, just the second batter of the game. That's a home run for Eric Webb. Mules take an early 1-0 lead. In the bottom, MIAA hitter of the week, Tommy Stevenson, flies out to right. It does the job though. Jordan Fitzpatrick scores here to even up the game. Then Henry Kuziak gets a piece of it. Troy Gagnon from third makes it safe. In the 8th, deadlocked at 2-2, Mules with a guy on third. Zach Parrish with a huge strikeout to keep it tied. UCM scores 3 in the 9th though to take the ball game 5-2.
We had bases loaded with 1 out in the first and didn't get a run after that after scoring 2 runs. And their pitcher's good, and he was giving us a chance to extend our lead a little bit, and we weren't able to do it. And so that, credit to him for getting out of it, but at the same time we need to try to get another run there.
The Pittsburgh Purple Dragons dropped their season opener in extra innings Tuesday, falling to Chanute 11-8. The Dragons are back at home this afternoon, aiming to rebound against Baxter Springs. Baxter Springs is 2-0 through their first 2 games of the season. Lions get scoring early, drive to right, brings home Pierce Stolt. Bottom of the 4th, Cale Farrington knocks it far left, driving in a run. Game tied at 2 through 4. This one pops up and drops. Tyler Sutton slides in at home. Then Brett O'Hara with a bomb to left. That's a 3-run home run. Pittsburgh gets their first win and hands Baxter Springs their first loss. Final is 7-2. The Missouri Southern softball team has won 4 in a row, including a doubleheader sweep against Pittsburgh State. The Lions aim to stay hot with a conference matchup on the road against Nebraska Kearney. In Game 1, Missouri Southern gets by Fort Hays 5-4. Michaela Leinhart is perfect at the plate, going 3 for 3 and driving in 2 runs. Game 2, Lions get the sweep. Bailey Lacey pitches a full game, striking out 8 batters. The Lions are right back on the field tomorrow at Fort Hays State. Speaking of Hays, the Pittsburgh State Gorillas facing the Tigers today in a road doubleheader. Game 1, the Gorillas fall 7-1. Paxton Hayes scores the lone run for PSU off of an error. Game 2 goes the same way. This time the final is 5-1. PSU gets 8 hits in the game, but can't make much from it. Pitt State will face UNK on the road tomorrow afternoon. That's a look at sports. We'll be right back with more news.
Health officials are still warning against unnecessary travel, but as more Americans are getting vaccinated, more folks are taking to the skies. Fox News correspondent Kevin Cork explains how the increase in air travel could have an impact on your wallet.
It was jam-packed. It was really busy, so you can tell people are traveling.
If it wasn't for the face masks, this crowded scene inside Los Angeles International Airport almost resembles pre-pandemic times, as the number of people once again taking to the skies is up.
We're going to Breckenridge to go snowboarding for a week.
Walt Disney World.
So far, the Transportation Safety Administration has seen over 1 million people passing through security checkpoints every day this week. Compared to this time last year, those numbers were struggling to surpass the 150,000 mark.
We needed to get our daughter out of the house. She's been stuck at home for so long, feeling absolutely miserable.
The global health crisis has done more than just drive down the number of total flyers. A recent report from the AP finds the cost of flights also dropped by roughly 28% in 2020 due to COVID concerns. But as air travel is showing new signs of life, experts say the low cost of plane tickets is also expected to rebound, increasing by roughly 5% every month until this summer as more Americans receive their vaccines.
It's time to go places.
And Delta is also announcing changes for its customers. The airline is currently the last in the U.S. to keep middle seats open on its flights. But in May, the company says the middle seat ban will no longer be in effect. I'm Kevin Cork, Fox News.
Gonna take a look at a new horror coming to Netflix. Hollywood Nation coming your way. Godzilla vs. Kong is already going big at the box office. The Masked Singer's Grandpa Monster making another appearance on Fox. Plus, a new scary movie is heading home. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin with Hollywood Nation.
A little bit of Jessica, here I am.
A Masked Singer goes to SmackDown, Netflix brings the scares, and a giant movie roars in the Hollywood Nation. Godzilla vs. Kong is off to a big start and could be a good sign for the domestic box office. Opening day ticket sales Wednesday totaled $9.6 million, according to Warner Brothers Pictures. It's a single-day pandemic record, more than most opening weekends this past year. The Monster Showdown goes into its first weekend with more theaters now open nationwide. Last weekend, the film raked in $123.1 million internationally.
My wife doesn't know what happened here. I think it would be better if we kept it that way.
In new trailer releases, Netflix unleashes a look at the book-to-screen horror thriller Things Heard and Seen, starring Amanda Seyfried. Set in the 1980s, the story follows a Manhattan woman who moves to a small town with her husband, where she discovers dark secrets lurk in their new home and their marriage. The film premieres on Netflix April 29th. And the latest, The Masked Singer revealed Grandpa Monster to be Logan Paul, who's also on tomorrow's WWE Friday Night SmackDown.
Sami Zayn, the WWE superstar, he invited me out for a red carpet premiere for his documentary.
The internet personality and boxer says in terms of WWE involvement, for now, he's just a guest.
Since I was a kid, I'm not going to lie, it's been on my bucket list to jump off the top rope. I don't know if me wrestling is even on the table.
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Yeah, happy Easter. Going to leave you with video of monkeys and meerkats in London getting creative for Easter. Have a great, safe Easter weekend. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.